Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days. So today's second video, that can take us around the 28th of February. We'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extended GFS ensembles and ECM also ensembles running to around a couple of weeks. That'll take us into the first week of March. And we'll have a look at CFSV2 as usual at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Takes us into the middle and second part of next month. We'll begin, of course, with the latest situation in terms of the flooding. We've got a few more of your picks to show in the video as well. Also have a little look at the stratosphere as well today. So it's going to be quite an extended video. I hope you find it interesting and informative. Don't forget to give us a like on the video, give us a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get the subs ever upwards, so give us a subscription if you haven't yet done so. Right, so let's get on with it then. We're going to start off with some pictures. This one is from James Robert Evans, shared with us on Facebook, showing Highland snow last week. James was up in the Highlands last week, and pretty thick snow and icy conditions up there across the Highlands. So there has been a bit of winter around in the UK this winter, being primarily up over Scottish mountains, proper snowy looking scene there. This was emailed by Chaley Stowe, showing some mammatus clouds. There was plenty of mammatus around yesterday with the big showers and downpours, of course, that we had in this very unstable air mass. This one was shared on the comment box at gaussweathers.com by Daniel Bradley, showing a proper flooded field there. This one also from Daniel, showing the River Severn looking very, very deep and flooded on the, or over or under, I should say, the M5. The M5 going over a very flooded looking River Severn. That one posted to the comment box at gaussweathers.com as well. And this one was posted on the comment box at Gaussweathers by Neil. This is showing flooding on the River Stour. Stour Bridge, I suppose, and that was posted a couple of days ago. Pretty deep flood waters there. We've had a few pictures shared with us on Twitter as well. It's Gaussweathers' Twitter page. This from Michael Doherty, or these from Michael Doherty, showing rivers Tame and Anchor peaked during Monday at Tamworth, England, after heavy rain during the weekend for Storm Dennis. Highest levels since around 2012. So, yeah, pretty deep and choppy looking rivers there. Definite flooding taking place on those rivers. Highest levels for the Tame and the Anchor since 2012, Michael Doherty is reporting. That's from Dreamcatcher, showing mammatus over Brighton yesterday. That one from Nigel, showing cloud or above the clouds over Sheffield yesterday. So sun shining above the cloud layer. Nigel must have been taking a flight. That from Paul Barker, again showing a little bit of mammatus, and also some more from UK Weather Live. Turbulent sky above the Solent. So yeah, we've had quite a few pictures in for the weather conditions. If you would like to have your pictures featured in the video, so there are various ways you can do it. You can share them with us, as we've just seen, via the Gaussweathers Facebook and Twitter pages. You can email them to us at gaussweathers.com, to Gmail, gaussweathers@gmail.com, or you can post them to the comment box at gaussweathers.com. Let's go through that again. So you can email them to us at gaussweathers@gmail.com. You can post them to the comment box at gaussweathers.com, or you can share them on the Gaussweathers Facebook and Twitter pages. And when we get a bit of time, we're always happy to feature your pictures in the videos. And a big thank you to everyone for sharing their weather pics with us. Okay, so this is how things are looking in terms of latest flood warnings. Still pretty serious out there in the wake of Storm Dennis. So we currently have 6 severe flood warnings. This is from the gov.uk warnings page, by the way. I'll leave a link to this in the description at YouTube, and also link to this on the links page at Gazlobbies. So 6 severe flood warnings, which means severe flooding, danger to life. This is where they are, still on the River Lug at Hampton Bishop, River Severn at New Street, Upton upon Severn, River Severn at Wharfage, Iron Bridge, River Severn at Uckinghall, River Severn at Waterside, Upton upon Severn, and the River Wye at Hampton Bishop. Excuse me. So roughly the same places still as yesterday. I think the one at Iron Bridge, River Severn at to Wharfage, Iron Bridge. I think that is a new one from yesterday. But there is a danger to life on those stretches of the River Severn and also River Lug and with River Wye. So obviously great care is going to be needed if you're in that area. Also got 149 flood warnings. Flooding expected. Immediate action is required. Haven't got time to go through all of those. If you're worried about your local river or stream being affected, then have a look at this page and see whether you are part of this warning area. We've got 190 flood alerts where flooding is possible, and be prepared. Again, haven't got time to go through all of those, but once again, if you think your local river could be affected with this, then do have a look at this page, see what they're saying. 179 flood warnings no longer in force. So 179 flood warnings have been removed in the last 24 hours. It's a serious situation still in the wake of Dennis. We're seeing it on the news at the moment. A lot of people being affected by flooding. And there's going to be some more rain to come, actually, so not going to help matters, I don't think, through the second half of the week. There's heavy showers around today, and expect more rain to come in the coming days as well. This very unsettled winter is all being driven by polar vortex, and indicative of that is a very cold temperature in the stratosphere over the North Pole at 10 HPA. And we've still got it. It's been very cold, really, at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole throughout this winter, although we did get a slight warming, or a fairly significant warming, but sort of short of a sudden stratospheric warming at the beginning of February. But otherwise, before that, temperatures were generally significantly colder at 10 HPA over the North Pole. And after that warming through early February, they have dropped back to very cold levels again, down to minus 70 or lower. The grey line is like the trend line for this time of year. So by the end of February, we should be seeing temperature at 10 HPA getting close to minus 15, around 20 degrees colder than average, very significantly colder than average at 10 HPA. And when you have such a cold temperature at 10 HPA, that will help to drive the polar vortex. It will help to drive zonality. They've gone a little bit low, down to 30 HPA. Look how cold it still is at 30 HPA. It's been a remarkably cold winter at 30 HPA, which is sort of in the boundary from the troposphere to the stratosphere. So it's a little bit lower down towards the troposphere, which is the boundary layer of the atmosphere where weather is taking place. Again, the grey line is the trend line. So at the end of February, we should be around there. We should be getting close towards minus 60, where we actually are is somewhere near minus 85. So we are way below average, much colder than average. We have been throughout the whole of the winter. Temperatures generally through this winter from beginning to end have been trending under minus 80. We did get a bit of a warming there again at the beginning of February, but we've had very cold temperatures at both 10 HPA and at 30 HPA, indicative of a strong polar vortex. So these cold temperatures that will be helping to drive the polar vortex. When we drive the polar vortex so strongly, then we will strengthen the westerlies dramatically. We will strengthen the jet stream as well, and this is all tying in with this very westerly Atlantic driven and zonal winter that we've been in, and also of course very wet winter as well. And showing us this strength of the zonal westerlies is, of course, this chart from weatheriscool.com, which is showing the zonal winds. Lots of different coloured lines on this. The main one that you have to be interested in is the black line, which is the trend line, and also the blue line, which shows how zonal winds have been performing through this season. You see that generally, as the temperature at 10 HPA has been colder than average, so the zonal winds have been stronger than average, indicated by that blue line just there. They reached record-breaking levels in terms of the strength of the zonal wind back in January, and we are back at record-breaking, at least date-record-breaking levels at the moment with the zonal winds just there. At this time of year, again, the black line's a trend line. At this time of year, zonal winds should be dropping, they should be weakening, as the temperature at 10 HPA warms up, so the zonal winds should ease down. And what we've actually had is a very, very strong zonal wind, again tying in with this dramatically powerful stratospheric polar vortex that has just been churning away throughout the whole of the winter, bringing these very strong westerlies across the Atlantic, and also bringing the areas of low pressure and very wet and at times quite stormy weather with them. So we're at record-breaking levels at the moment in terms of the strength of the zonal wind just there. The GFS ensembles are forecasting the zonal winds to weaken in the next couple of weeks, but you see still well above that black line, still well above average, so much stronger zonal wind than average even into the beginning of March. The 3 pink and 1 blue line are from the CFS V2. They're indicating that through March, so this is going to be March just here, and this will be April just here. That, of course, will be May there. So they're indicating that through the spring, the zonal winds will ease down, but not dramatically so. They only do it very gradually through March and into April, really, which is just, I think, showing us like the cyclical weakening of the zonal winds and the stratospheric polar vortex as we go into the spring. There may not be a sudden stratospheric warming associated with that at any point. It could just be a very gradual warming of the stratosphere that takes place, as you would expect, through the spring as the sun returns into the northern hemisphere and heats everything up. You would expect that we eventually start to see just as a cyclical weakening of the stratospheric polar vortex. But there may not be anything particularly dramatic going on there in terms of a sudden stratospheric one, probably more just a very gradual weakening, as you would expect through seasonality, really, through the course of the spring and on into the summer. So these are the cold temperatures at 10 HPA that we've just been talking about. Of course, I've got those blue colours, those are very cold temperatures, 10 HPA in the stratosphere. This from meteoseal.fr is the GFS, latest GFS forecast for temperatures at 10 HPA. And you see, as we run through the next few days, we just keep those blue colours plugging away, churning away over the North Pole and the Arctic. The cold temperatures at 10 HPA remain right the way through to the end of February. We're into the opening days of March now. A bit of a warming starting to take place over Siberia there. Slight warm up, but well short of anything that would be classified as sudden stratospheric warming. And through the first week of March, we just keep those cold temperatures going. So certainly through mid-tropical winter, we are never going to have a sudden stratospheric warming this winter. And not every winter has one. So a lot of people think that sudden stratospheric warmings occur every winter. Actually, they don't. A lot of winters don't have them. And this is going to be one of those winters that doesn't have a sudden stratospheric warming at any point. We may get one in the spring, either in March or April. My guess is that we will just see a very gradual warming. We'll lose the intensity of these blue colours. They'll fade more towards lighter blues over time and eventually go towards green and yellows as we reach the spring and early summer. We will see like just a seasonal weakening of the stratospheric polar vortex and those cold temperatures. We might get a sudden stratospheric warming in March or April, but I think the evidence of that is pretty flimsy at the moment. And certainly up to the 5th of March, as far as we can go for GFS, we're going to keep those very cold temperatures going at 10 HPA right the way until then. So these were GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Iron Bridge today, featured a moment ago, of course, where they've got flood warnings. Been very wet, obviously, at Iron Bridge on the River Severn, and it looks like you're going to keep things pretty unsettled as well. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Iron Bridge, and we're starting off a little bit cooler than average at the moment. They're going to pick up those temperatures from Wednesday through to Thursday. We've had another little cold snap Thursday to Friday before the temperature picks up properly over the weekend. Looks like it could be a very mild weekend actually down in the south. Early next week, again, bit up and down with the upper air temperatures. You expect it with zonality. We've got warmer and cooler sectors alternating with one another, but when you average it all out, we still come out milder than average at this time of the year. Precipitation-wise, most importantly for Iron Bridge, more rain to come, I'm afraid. So a showery burst of rain over the next few days. Thursday could be quite heavy rain, actually. And then as we go through into the last week of February, that's this period just here, the first days of March, we keep more precipitation spikes going. Not any particular evidence of a deluge, although there are some quite big precipitation spikes just there. Just looks generally unsettled, which is going to exacerbate the situation. So more rain to come, more bands of rain, showers in between. It remains unsettled as it has been throughout winter. It remains unsettled right the way up to the end of the month. As getting to March, we may be seeing a little bit of a drying trend just there, although even that looks pretty flimsy at the moment. It's very extended range stuff as well, of course. Temperature anomalies from the 18th to the 26th of February, milder than average. Precipitation anomalies from the 18th to 26th of February, wet than average through central and northern parts of the British Isles. A little bit drier down in the south. Overall, it still looks quite an unsettled week to come. That's how the GFS looks for Friday, so quite windy on Friday. It's a mild wind, though, up from the southwest. Rain in the north, perhaps a little bit on the drier side, though, down in the south. Into the weekend, stays quite windy. Southern areas getting the driest weather close to this ridge from the Azores High that's across France, so that brings a reasonable amount of dry weather down to the south, but there will be further showers along with spells of rain in the north. Bit of a north-south split with temperature as well. Probably very mild and spring-like down in the south over the weekend. In the north, though, it could be cold enough for some snow, especially over high ground. The low pressure begins to move in off the Atlantic on Monday next week. That scoots across the country, clearing out of the way by Tuesday. That brings another bout of rain with it, I would have thought. Then by Wednesday, we're into this cold northwesterly again, cold showering northwesterly winds, very similar to what we're currently in. As we get up towards day 10, we're saying generally Atlantic driven and mixed. Obviously, the detail by this point is going to be variable from run to run and model to model. But overall, still bringing winds from the Atlantic, still bring quite a lot of rain, particularly to the western parts of the country. That low pressure there quickly pushes across the country from the 28th to the 29th of February and allows winds to swing into the north. So for the last day of mid-tropical winter 2019-2020, we get a blast of northerly winds. So we end this exceptionally mild winter on a cold note with northerly winds and probably snow showers in the northeast. But it's only a one-day wonder. By Sunday the 1st of March, wind backs into west again, and here we go again, bringing milder winds back in from off the Atlantic. And then right at the very end of this GFS run, through the first week of March, we see something we haven't had for quite a while. High pressure then starts to build up from the south and takes over. So by the time we get through to the end of this GFS run, which is Thursday, the 5th of March, we are under an area of high pressure. Not just a little ridge, not just something that's going to be broken down within a day or so. An actual 1030 millibar area of high pressure is sitting across not just UK but west of Europe, and that would turn us significantly drier. It would also be very mild. Winds are pushing up from the south, so taste of spring definitely in the air there. But the main thing, of course, is that it is drying things out very significantly. And if that high pressure was able to stick around for a while, that would be pretty good news, I would have thought, for those flooded areas. GM looks like that. So, again, quite windy and also mild as we go through to the weekend. Further gales possible in the north and west. Most of the rain always in the northwest, but driest weather will be down in the south and the southeast. And then as we get through to next week, looks unsettled from the 24th to 25th of February. This is Tuesday 25th. Deep low pressure pushing in, bringing quite a bit of wet and windy weather. We go into cold and showery northwesterlies through the middle of next week. That's how we finish up with the GM by the 28th of February. High pressure is across Spain, low pressure to the north of Scotland. So still driving winds in from the Atlantic, a little bit cooler though at that point. And then the ECM looks like that, so more west-south westerlies on Friday. Driest conditions closest ridge across France in the south. Most central and northern parts of the country both seeing more heavy rain over the weekend with those westerly winds. Into next week, we've got this area of low pressure on Monday developing out to the west of Ireland. That's to the east of Scotland by Tuesday, so it zips across the country very quickly. Probably brings another bout of heavy rain and maybe gale force winds and hill snow with it through the early part of next week. Then we're into a cold and showery northwesterly Wednesday next week before the next lows coming in. That's how we finish up at day 10, Friday 28th of February. Still not unsettled, low pressure is in control, although we have got this ridge down to the southwest. Maybe that will make a move through the first week of March and bring something a lot drier with it. We'll have to wait and see about that. This is a precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Tameteo.com. Wintry showers in the northwest today and an area of more persistent showers pushing southwards and eastwards across England and Wales too. Tomorrow we start dry, but more rain's coming in from the Atlantic, particularly affecting central northern parts of the country. Could be some hill snow mixed in with that. And then as we go into Thursday, heavy rain, band of heavy rain sweeps across the country again. Could well be some hill snow on the back edge of that rain as it clears away. 2 wintry showers into the north and the west. Friday, heavy rain and strong winds across the northern parts of the country, mainly dry though, down in the south. Then into the weekend, a bit of a north-south split really, so further rain with snow over high ground in the north. Always driest though down in the south. It could be a mainly dry weekend for southern parts of England and Wales, and probably quite mild too, although I suspect there'll be a fair amount of cloud. Into next week, again, a bit of a snow event there for Scotland through the early part of next week, and heavy rain on lower ground perhaps. That gets out of the way, leaves us with cold northwest winds and wintry showers. As we move up towards day 10, there's another batch of wind and rain with hill snow coming in from the Atlantic Bay on the 27th of February. It's a very changeable scene, although it's not really suggesting another deluge. It remains changeable. There remains regular bands of rain and showers zipping across the country at regular intervals, which just keeps this unsettled theme going and certainly won't help the clean-up from the flooding. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which is the 28th of February. So for the penultimate day of February and the penultimate day of winter 2019-2020, we have 29 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the north and high pressure to the south. We're bringing in a westerly wind. That includes the control and the operational run. That's one we've just been looking at, of course. So unsettled up to day 10 with those options. Another 17 are even more unsettled. We have the trough of low pressure centred over the top of the country and a bit of a mid-Atlantic ridge. So not only are these unsettled, we're also a bit colder as well, with winds coming in from the north. And then 5 with low pressure out to the northwest. Again, westerly winds coming in off the Atlantic. Looks like for the end of February, all roads are leading to unsettled conditions, really. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 4th of March. So we have 18 members of the ECM ensembles, but see a change. Build up a ridge of high pressure from the south and southwest and sends the jet stream northwards. Taste of spring with those, and a lot drier as well. However, there's 17 that have deep low pressure over the top of the country and bring in westerly winds there, keeping it very unsettled through the first week of March. And then 16 just here with a bit of a north-south split, low pressure to the north and high pressure is set up to the south. We're in a west-south-westerly flow, so it's probably going to be mild. Driest weather we've had, obviously, is in the south coast of that ridge. Still a little bit on the unsettled side up in the north. We could be seeing hints of a change here. Some higher pressure through the first week of March, settling things down. And then finally, the CFSV2, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will take us from the 18th to the 24th of February. The coming week is unsettled with low pressure over to the north of the country, high pressure to the south. In come the westerly winds. So yes, we keep driving in Atlantic weather in week ahead. In week 2, which is the 25th of February to the 2nd of March, the ridge begins to build northwards. The low pressure starts to shift northwards with the jet stream doing something like that. So that is turning things more settled, particularly the southern parts of the country. It turns drier, still probably quite unsettled in the north. And then week 3 does something that we haven't had for quite some time. It places us under an area of high pressure from the 3rd to the 9th of March. We're under a ridge of high pressure. It's an extension from the Azores high. Low pressure is pushed up towards Greenland and Iceland with the jet stream. That is spring-like. Temperatures will be into double digits across the country. Might be a bit cold at night, I suppose, but by day will be spring-like and much, much drier as well. And then week 4 keeps this high pressure influence going. It's a temp to the 16th of March with above average heights then centred over to the east of the country, below average heights out to the northwest. Jet streams doing something a bit like that. It could be a little bit more unsettled for northwestern parts of the country, but for most of us, that still has us under high pressure. You would still expect quite a lot of dry weather with that. And we saw the hints within the ECM 30-day look ahead as well for west of Europe that we may start to see some higher pressure through the first half of March. So I don't really get too carried away with this. It's still quite a long way off. But we could be seeing hints that we're going to finally break out of this Atlantic-driven weather that we've been in for so very long. It could be that the first half of March is going to deliver something significantly more high pressure dominated and finally allow us to dry out a little bit and allow those river levels to begin to reduce. It's all in the extended range though, so at the moment only hints, maybes and possibilities, and we're going to have to wait and see. You know, in around a week to 10 days' time, we'll know a lot more about this. Certainly in around a week's time, we'll know a lot more about the first week of March. But at the moment, there are some hints of something a bit drier through the first half of March, which will be a welcome relief, I think, to many people. Right, that's it for your videos for today. Tomorrow I have a 5-day forecast, and I'll have another week, 10-day video update then as well. So that's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.